Hey guys, it's Grand Admiral Thrawn, and before we start today's video, I have two things I want to mention. Two. So, I've been slacking with Bad Batch Black Series reviews for Bad Batch Season 3, so after today's video, I'm going to get on it and make more Black Series reviews that relate to Bad Batch Season 3. Even if they're just clone troopers that don't even show up, I'm still going to do it. And then the other thing I wanted to say is that today's video was suggested by a subscriber of mine, A10. And A10 made this suggestion back when I was doing Rogue One members. However, I didn't have a Death Trooper at the time, so I wasn't able to do it. But now that I do own a Death Trooper, I will gladly do the suggestion that you suggested. And today's video, to specify, is the archive figure of the Death Trooper. There's hardly any difference between it and the one in the box, so like the red box figures. There's a big difference between the credit collection because that's where they take a figure and they spray paint it, but I'm stalling. Anyway, so today's figure is a Death Trooper, as you can tell. And they did a really good job on detailing this Death Trooper, starting with just like the fact that the legs have straps on them, but not just the legs. They make straps here on the chest too for the armor, and there's like straps that they detailed on throughout the entire figure. And that's just a really good thing because you never really see the straps on the armor that holds it on like a Death Trooper. You'll see it in the shows and movies, but like most action figures wouldn't detail that on, so I'm really glad that they did that for this figure. And then, just speaking of detail, this figure's got a lot of detail on it, starting with the head, for example, how they made the lenses in the helmet green like how they are in the movie. They didn't need to do that, but they did it, and it makes the Death Trooper look amazing because they're supposed to have green eyes and green little circles here, like on the bottoms of their helmets. That looks good. And then the side piece that extends out on the helmet, they did that, and it looks great on the figure. And then on the back, you have some detailing, like your average Stormtrooper has this on its back, along with clones. They all have it. And then they have those things that every trooper has that Clone Wars revealed is actually an explosive, but that's the only time we ever see it used. And then you've got like another clip here to show that it clips together and holds the armor on. And yeah, that's just some great detailing. Another thing, this figure is actually taller than your average Black Series because Death Troopers are tall dudes. Like, they're all very tall. They're not all males because in Rebels there was that commander that was a female. But what I'm trying to say is they're tall and skinny for some reason. I think it makes them more intimidating, honestly, of how they're taller than your average person, and then they're just intimidating in that they finish the job, is what I'm trying to say. Like, unlike your average Stormtrooper, they are intimidating regardless because Death Troopers are never shown to be embarrassed, but like embarrassing themselves, hitting their head on a wall. Okay, Death Troopers are like deadly. There's a reason they're called Death Troopers, is what I'm trying to say here. So yeah, I think that they did a really good job of capturing that. This does look like an intimidating action figure, and a cool one at that. And then on the armor, like near the knees specifically, how it goes out like that, and there's like those V's that they have here. I'll go in close for you to see it. It might be difficult, but they did that little detail, and it's a really cool detail. Now, for accessories, this figure comes with two. One, where it has a holster for it, which is a really cool feature that they gave it. And it's just your average blaster. Most Imperial officers come with one. Like, not Tarkin, but Rampart from Bad Batch, he has one. And then Mando, from when he goes in disguise, he has one of them. However, the other gun that this figure comes with is very unique in that it's solely used for Death Troopers because only Death Troopers have this gun. And it looks just like the Death Trooper rifle. I mean, the way how the handle on the handle is where you can grab it, that looks good. And they even made this little red line there for detail. That's how much they cared. They put that little red line in there for detail. And it looks exactly like a Death Trooper gun, so they did a really good job on that. It fits nicely into the trooper's hand, and yeah, you can have him use both hands to give it more grip. And this trooper comes with some pretty good posability. I couldn't think of the word for a second. Yeah, I say that in every video basically, and I can't think of it right here. Anyway, so yeah, this figure comes with some pretty good posability for some cool shots if you want to take pictures or just pose it on or just put it on display. Yeah, it's pretty good with posability, and like Death Troopers are mainly just used to have cool things, like them walking up on Galen's farm or them when they're entering the battlefield on Scarif. They're cool, and I can see why they are used in so many projects. So for right now, we're going to take a little break from the figure and talk about the box. I've already discussed archive figure boxes on this channel. They're good in that they're a good way to get a figure, but once you use the box, it's kind of useless. I mean, you only really get one time out of this box, and that's fine because hey, you still get the figure, and they're unique boxes. I mean, they come with a picture on the bottom here, and then a picture on the back, and that's all they really need. Along with the name on the one side, Imperial Death Trooper. I don't think there were any Rebel Death Troopers, so I don't know why they needed to specify, but they did. And then you have Archive on the side. So it's a cool box, but there's nothing really unique about it. Coming back to the figure for some final things to say about it. The underneath their armor, the layers that the troopers wear, they added that as details. You can see it at several points, like on the sides and in between gaps in the armor. That looks great. And a thing I noticed about this figure, you can do 360 with this figure around its torso. Yeah, that's pretty cool that they gave the Death Trooper that feature. Anyway, I think this Death Trooper is a 10 out of 10, and if you're looking for a Death Trooper, I recommend you get the Archive version because it's slightly cheaper, I think. Anyway, so this figure is a 10 out of 10, and if you have a figure you'd like me to do, you will have to wait because right now I'm doing Bad Batch Black Series reviews, but after that, I'll be happy to do your suggestion. This is Grand Admiral Thrawn signing off, and I look forward to our next encounter in my next video.